Welcome to the lesson, Lightning Docker, Docker in 5 minutes or less. What we're going to do here is we are going to really see Docker running, right? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to open up your machine. We're going to install Git and clone a repository that's going to do most of the work as I walk you through here. But by the end of this lesson, you're going to be running an application within a Docker container on your machine. So let's get started. So I'm operating as a regular user, and I'm going to go ahead and do a sudo yum install -y for the program Git. So what's going to happen is we are going to clone a script that I wrote for the purposes of this lesson. What the script is going to do is it's going to download and install Docker, as well as pull a Docker image from the public Docker repository called Docker Hub. From here, it'll run the image and we can see it running and understand the true concepts of Docker. My goal in this lesson is for you to understand what we're going to learn how to build throughout this course and get you excited about it. So now that we're here, we're going to do a git clone, and I'm going to go ahead and paste in the repository. But let me read it to you. It's https://github.com/cloud-assessments/learn-docker-with-anthony-james.git. It's going to clone the files into our repository, and it's going to download that repository. Now let's go ahead and cd into the learn docker with Anthony James directory. Now we have this script here called lightningdocker.sh. We do need to make sure that it's executable. So to do this, we're going to do sudo change mod +x on lightning docker, which is going to allow us to execute the script. And we're very simply going to do a // on the lightningdocker.sh. Now, what's happening here, again, is it's downloading and installing Docker. And yes, later in this course, we're going to learn how to do this from scratch, but I really want you to see what Docker can do out of the box. And then it's going to pull down a pre-built image that I've built and put up on the Docker repository. And we're also going to learn how to build that using Docker files later in this course as well. Now, depending on the size of your virtual machine or machine that you're running this on, it might take a little bit longer to install. So here, go ahead and pause the video and let the script complete running. Now, when it's done, what you'll see is a lot of stuff like this, pulling different layers, which we'll learn about this throughout the course, as well as this random string here. Now, really what this means is it's completed. All this backend stuff is nothing that you're going to worry about out of the box. We're going to learn how to do this throughout the course, right? So if I very simply type a command sudo docker ps, it's going to ask me for my sudo password. And what I'm going to see is I have a running container. Now, we're going to learn about all of this, but what we see is we have a running container on a virtual machine. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my IP address or my URL, and I'm going to hit port 80 because that's the port it tells me to do here. We'll learn to read that shortly later. Now I'm using cloud servers, so I went to my fully qualified domain name. You could just go to your IP address. Make sure you can hit it. You can do a curl on it if you need to. And here is an application we're running. Now, this application is running independently on our virtual machine. I can run 5 other applications. And in fact, I can send this Docker container to a developer. And that 5 applications, that's an arbitrary number. I can run 50, whatever my system resources allow, right? And I can send this application, my code set, to a developer, and all of the dependencies and everything are stored within this container. They don't have to worry about running any type of composer or gems or npm packages because it's already in this container. All they have to do is run the container, and here's the application, right? And just to even verify that this works, I'm going to upload a file. Make sure the file's not too big. Make sure it's a megabyte or less. And then we see that it's actually working. Now, there's a lot that goes into this. You might say, where is that image stored? Right now, it's stored on the container, but we don't want to store our images on a container. We might want to store it on the virtual machine or on an NFS or somewhere else. All of these things we're going to learn throughout this course. And I really hope that this got you excited to learn and understand about Docker containers. We saw what we could do with a very simple container, and it's going to be amazing as we learn to build this out in the course. So go ahead and complete this lesson and move on to the next one.